Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome back to my channel. So it's officially summer and it's sweltering hot outside and I'm sitting here in the house with the AC blasting. So if you hear the AC in the background, I'm sorry. But it's like 107 today. It is roaring hot in my area. I live in high desert now, so it's really warm and I am trying to stay cool. But other than that, I hope you guys are doing well. We made it to July, you guys. We're more than halfway through the year. It's kind of crazy. It feels like the year just started and we're already halfway through. But today I have a haul for you guys. I have a little Middle Eastern haul. I have about 6 fragrances that I want to talk to you guys about. And that's what we're going to get into today. All of these fragrances are newer in my collection. Some I've had for a minute. I got them like in the beginning of June, I want to say, and I've been sort of playing around with them, getting a feel for them and getting my thoughts down to let you guys know whether or not they're worth investing in. But before we get started, one of the 6 is an honorary mention. And I want to talk about that one first because it's one that I've purchased in the past and I had to repurchase it again. I love this fragrance and I was missing this fragrance for a while. I had a huge bottle of this fragrance and it's from the house of Dua Fragrances. And this one is called Herbs and Sea Salt. I had the giant, I think it was like a 150 ml bottle, or I don't remember, but I had the big bottle and I had the little mini, and my mini was the 30 ml that I had was pretty empty. It was just about empty, but I remember I ended up selling, I think, the big bottle that I had when I went through my divorce, and I regretted it because that smell, oh my God, as soon as it started getting warm, I remembered that fragrance. And if you don't know, this is a clone of Wood Sage and Sea Salt by Jo Malone. This is Dua Fragrances, their version of it. And what's so great about this version too is that this is an extrait de parfum. I love the smell of Wood Sage and Sea Salt. It doesn't last for jack poo on my skin. It's like I spray it on and it's immediately gone. It's almost not even worth the price point of owning that fragrance. I love the smell. It's so beautiful, so light, so airy and aromatic and a little salty and just really beautiful and captivating. But it doesn't last for crap. This one, however, does. This lasts all day on me. This is killer. So beautiful. Every time I've worn this, I always get compliments. When I used to work at a grocery store up in North Idaho, I would constantly get compliments when I wore this fragrance in particular. This is a stellar fragrance. And if you love the DNA of Wood Sage and Sea Salt by Jo Malone, which is an extremely popular DNA, it's their best-selling fragrance, I do believe, in their lineup, then you're really going to enjoy the Dua version. This is so good, so potent, aromatic, clean, uplifting. This gives like clean girl chic. It gives expensive bougie vibes without doing too much. It's just one of those fragrances that's going to put you in a good mood. It's going to uplift you. And like I said, I didn't realize how much I missed this fragrance until it was out of my collection, and then thought about it again, and I immediately wanted it back in my collection, and I went ahead and bought it. And I mean, I've only had it for a couple weeks and I already have a dent in it. Like, as you can see, this was full to the top. I have a pretty significant dent. I wear this almost daily. I'm constantly reaching for it. If you want something that is comparable to Jo Malone's Wood Sage and Sea Salt that has that extra oomph, then do yourself a favor and look into the House of Dua Fragrances. Dua knows how to do an extrait de parfum. All their fragrances are extrait de parfum, and they have sales constantly. So just usually wait for like a Friday or Saturday. There's usually a sale going on where you can get like 33% off or 30% off. It just depends. A lot of the time there's like a 15% off coupon available. And I personally love the House of Dua Fragrances. Do yourself a favor, look into this one, Herbs and Sea Salt by Dua Fragrances. I will link everything down below, by the way. Now, the next one that I'm going to talk about is one that, well, you know what? I'm already on the Dua train. I'm going to add this one on there as well. This is one from Dua Fragrances as well, and this is called The Guide. Now, this one is a clone of Guidance by Amouage. And I would say this is a very close. I was able to sample Guidance, really enjoyed it. I know Paris Corner released Bayan Al Alsar, I think it was what it's called, and I own that one. Love it. But that one isn't that close. It does smell similar to it, but it almost smells like it would be a flanker, like a summery flanker to Amouage, because the Bayan Al Alsar loses the woody components that the original guidance has, and it's more pear forward and refreshing and juicy. This one has that refreshing juicy pear, but it doesn't lose the woody elements that the original guidance is known for. So if you want a more one-to-one clone of guidance, I would suggest looking into this one. This is near identical to the actual guidance. And it's so good. And it's an extrait de parfum. It works beautifully on skin. This has the same longevity as Guidance, which Guidance is a beast of a fragrance, because when I sprayed it on my hand when I tested it, man, I could smell it all day. And when I sprayed this, it's the same thing. Exact same performance, exact same fragrance. You have notes of pear, hazelnut, olibanum, osmanthus, rose, saffron, jasmine, sandalwood, vanilla, akigala wood, ambergris, and labdanum. You guys, this is such a dead-on dupe. This has a really beautiful hazelnut and sandalwood combo in it. And when you spray it, you definitely get that nutty sandalwood, and it's nutty because of the hazelnut. I really like the hazelnut note in this. It adds complexity and like a uniqueness. And if you're familiar with, I think it's Chipmunk from Zoologist, that has a sort of like hazelnutty sort of sandalwood as well. It has that same sort of vibe, but it's also like juiced up because of that really juicy pear and these slight florals. There's something very exotic smelling about this fragrance. It's very attractive. The deep dry down to me is really spectacular. And if you want something that is comparable to Guidance and you want to sample something that is very close to Guidance before you jump the gun and pay the Guidance price, do yourself a favor and look into Dua Fragrances. This is a really good dupe that is so spot on to the original Guidance. This will really help you decide if you want to spend your coin on Guidance. Because like I said, it performs the same. Longevity is the same. The smell is the same. This is one of the best Guidance dupes, I think, hands down on the market. Like, I think that's just an easy thing to say about this one. This is legitimately the closest thing I have smelt to Guidance than anything else I've smelt. So if you want something comparable to it, do yourself a favor. The Guide Dua Fragrances, I think this was like 55 or 60 bucks for a 30 ml. Get it on a sale. You can get it for like 30 something bucks. So good, you guys. I highly suggest checking this one out. Now, the next one that we're going to talk about is one that's been super hyped all over online, on YouTube. Everyone's talked about this one for a hot minute. I wasn't sure if I wanted this one in my collection or not, but then I decided I did. I was like very curious about it. This one is from Afnan, and this one is called Mystique Bouquet, and the bottle looks like this. The bottle is stunning, by the way. I think the bottle is really gorgeous. I love the ombre sort of glass bottle. If you're familiar with what is it called, Turquotic from MAC, that sort of blue to green sort of gradient, this has that same sort of gradient, but in this really cool sort of almost jewel-like bottle with a heavy metal cap, which I really enjoy. The packaging on this one is very luxe. From the box to the actual bottle, I really enjoyed the presentation. You've got notes of white peach, mandarin orange, bergamot, lychee, peony, orange blossom, mahonia, vetiver, musk, ambroxan, oak moss, and vanilla. And this is supposed to be a clone of Viola by Parfums de Marly. Now, I was very curious about Viola by Parfums de Marly, and I was thinking about buying it, but I really wanted to sample something that was supposed to be similar to it. And now that I've put my nose to this, I'm probably not going to invest in Viola, just because I've smelt this DNA before. I'm trying to remember which Jane Ormond fragrance it is that I have. It's at my mom's house. I left it back in California when I was living with her after my divorce, because I moved back home for like a few months just to get my feet back on the ground. But it reminds me of one of those. But if you're also familiar with Fleur Narcotique by Ex Nihilo, it's a very similar DNA, that sort of citrusy, aquatic, kind of fruity-ish sort of scent. But this is more heavy on the florals and the citrus. Also, there was one, the mermaid perfume from Sweet, oh, why can't I remember? Anna Sweet, the mermaid perfume that looks like in a mermaid cupcake. This smells almost the same as that. So if you're familiar with that DNA or Fleur Narcotique by Ex Nihilo, then you're probably gonna enjoy this. It is a very refreshing, citrusy, clean sort of floral fragrance that has an aquatic undertone. Very, very tart, very sour, perfect for hot weather. Honestly, this isn't my vibe, but I can see a lot of people really enjoying this because it gives that sort of clean girl aesthetic. If you're into the clean girl aesthetic and you really love like a bitter citrus fragrance with a little bit of florals, then you're probably really going to enjoy this one. Personally, not my cup of tea. It lasts pretty long on skin. Projects really well in high heat. This is definitely like a spring summer sort of fragrance. I can't see it working that well in like fall and winter, but if you love those sort of aquatic-y, very tart citrus sort of cold clean fragrances, then you're probably going to really enjoy Mystique Bouquet by Afnan. But like I said, if you're familiar with Anna Sui, the mermaid one, if you're familiar with Fleur Narcotique, and then that Jane Ormond one, God, what is it called? I can't remember for the life of me. I own it, but I can't remember because I haven't had it in my collection for a minute because I left it at my mom's house. If you're familiar with that one, then you're pretty much going to be familiar with this DNA. Nothing too special, but nice. If you love this fragrance, then awesome. I'm not discrediting that it's a good fragrance. It's just not personally my favorite style of fragrance, but I can definitely tell that it's a good fragrance, good quality, projects beautifully, lasts a long time, about 7 to 8 hours on me personally. This one is pretty beastly. Definitely like it, but I think it's beastly because it has Ambroxan, and Ambroxan clings to my skin. Now, the next one that we're going to talk about is one that I was surprised by. This one is from the House of Kadlaj, and this one is called Rose and Romance. I love this fragrance so much. This is really beautiful. Now, if you love floral fragrances, which I do, I've talked about it before, I'm a floral girl. I love smelling like a flower. There's something really dreamy and just sort of like whimsical about smelling like a flower. To me, you can't smell more feminine than smelling like a freshly plucked flower from a garden. That to me is like the ultimate vibe. It screams like cottagecore. I love it. Not that I'm like a cottagecore stan or fan or like live that life, but I do love that smell. You guys, this has musk, bergamot, tuberose, jasmine, rose, hyacinth, and sandalwood, and this smells so good. If you're familiar with like Gucci Bloom, I would say this is very comparable to Gucci Bloom, but this is a lot more airy, and there's something about this that is very feminine, a little youthful without being juvenile, and just so pretty. This smells like what I would picture a girl like that was painted in a Renaissance era painting to smell like. That sort of romantic, floral, soft, sort of dreamy, hazy vibe. Like, this is so beautiful. The musk in this is very clean. It's like a very clean white musk. And you have this implosion of florals. I really get that hyacinth and that tuberose. It creates this very dreamlike, hazy, beautiful quality to the fragrance. This smells like you're in love. Like, there's something about this that's so beautiful, so girly, so chic, so everyday. This could be a signature scent. I could see this being worn year-round. Like, this is just such a gorgeous, feminine floral fragrance. And if you're familiar with the DNA of Gucci Bloom, I would say this is very similar, but honestly kind of better. Gucci Bloom, for some people, has a sort of dated quality. It smells more mature. This smells youthful without being juvenile. It smells very delicate, very feminine. And the longer this sits in your collection, the more it'll macerate and get better. When I first got it, it was a little light, but this is getting better and better and stronger, and I love it more and more each time I wear it. And I've worn this quite a few times. This is addictive to me. This to me is like, if I was a crack addict, this would be my crack. I already wear this a lot. Like, I really love this. This is stunning. It's beautiful. It's everything I hoped it would be. I wasn't sure how it was going to perform. I was very drawn to the name Rose and Romance. And though I do get a bit of rose For me, primarily what I get is that hyacinth, that beautiful sweet hyacinth, and that sort of tuberose. Really, really beautiful. Definitely check this one out. 10 out of 10. I really like it. The packaging's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. The cap is kind of strange to me. And so is the bottle, but it doesn't bother me. Like, it's a little weird, but you know what? So am I. So you know what? It checks out. It checks out. The vibe check is checked. Like, it's here. I love it. I'm gonna keep wearing it. I will definitely repurchase this again. I don't want to be without this one in my collection. Ultra feminine, ultra beautiful, ultra sexy. Like, man, you're gonna find a boy wearing this. You're gonna find yourself a boyfriend, girls. Get it. Now the next one that I'm gonna talk about is one from the House of Maison Alhambra, and this one is called Glossy. Now, Glossy is supposed to be a dupe of Idol from Lancôme, from what I believe. And this one is really beautiful. You know, I remember smelling Idol, and I almost bought it like back when I was married. I remember really liking it, but I don't remember why I didn't buy it. I can't really remember what the DNA smells like because that was such a while ago, but I remember enjoying it. Now this has notes of pear, bergamot, pink pepper, rose, jasmine, white musk, vanilla, patchouli, and cedarwood. And this is really, really pretty. Honestly, like every time I've worn this, my guy has been like drooling and like compliments me and like is always like, you smell really good. And I like to wear this at night because like at night, like it just draws him in and he just starts sniffing me out of nowhere, which I think is kind of cute. But like, this is really compliment getting. It's really attractive. There's something very sensual and just like it lures you in. It's really hard to explain. There's a really ramped up rose and rose and pear sort of vibe going on. There's like this juiciness, but it's almost syrupy. It's got a really beautiful syrupy rose with this sort of like slightly candied pear and a hint of spice because of that pink pepper. And it's not overtly spicy, but just enough to add a little sex appeal to it, to make it a little mysterious, a little bit catching. This does have patchouli in the base, but I don't smell the patchouli at all. It's so well blended. It has this sort of clean vibe to it, but it's very syrupy. If you love a syrupy rose pear combo that's gonna smell very seductive with a heaping dose of vanilla, then you're probably really gonna enjoy this. I really like the bottle. Honestly, the presentation is really nice. And I got this for like 15 bucks, which that was the mind-blowing part. I bought this on Amazon, and on Amazon it was like $15. I was like, is it that bad that they're like selling it for 15 bucks? Like, what's the catch? You know, I was kind of like, I'm not sure about this. You know, you gotta give it side eye when it's so cheap sometimes. But I was curious. Nonetheless, I bought the fragrance. What a gem. For $15 to smell this good and for it to perform the way it does, this lasts a good 6 to 7 hours on me, and it smells really sexy for some reason on my skin. It just ramps up that sex appeal and smells kind of erotic, if I'm honest. If you want an erotic smelling, gorgeous rose sort of pear that's syrupy, like I said, with a sort of candied syrupy vibe that has a little tinge of spice that makes it a little bit sexy, girl, what are you doing? Glossy, Maison Alhambra, come through, baby. I love it. It smells so incredibly good. Like, so good. And like I said, compliment getter up the wazoo. Like, my dude, I had to like tell him to chill. I was like, calm down, sir. Like, get over there. Get over there. Get away from me. Now, the last one that I'm going to talk about is probably one of my favorites from this bunch. This one has been such an addictive DNA for me to wear, and I'm so happy I got it in my collection because, you guys, when I tell you that this fragrance has a chokehold on me, this fragrance has a chokehold on me. And get it right now that it's summertime, because usually these heavier fragrances tend to be cheaper in the summertime. What a steal. I was gonna buy this in wintertime and it was close to $50. I got this for like 25 bucks on Amazon. You guys, from Pandora Scents, this is Noir Arabe, and this is their take on Arabian's Tonka from Montel. I mean, just look at the bottle. Gorgeous, very sleek and simple. And you guys, when I tell you this DNA is addictive. It is so addictive. If you love that Baccarat Rouge DNA, this has a very similar vibe. It's not Baccarat Rouge, so don't get it twisted, homie. It's not Baccarat Rouge. But you guys, this is stunning. When I tell you that this is stunning, this is stunning. Like, this smells a lot like the Tonka, like the name would imply of, you know, the original Arabian's Tonka. This, oh God, it's so romantic, so dreamy. If you love very sweet fragrances, this is a very sweet fragrance. It is a sugared, candied rose. It is a rose that has been dipped in melted sugar. It is crystallized. It is delicious. There's something that is coming off a little bit chocolatey. It's that oud sort of tonka feel with the amber. Gives a slightly chocolatey vibe, but it's not overtly a chocolatey fragrance. This is stunning with a backbone that is very comparable to Baccarat Rouge. Oh my God. Like, this is it. Like, this, oh my God. You definitely get that sort of saffron vibe in the opening, and I love saffron, so it does not bother me. Some people translate saffron as like sort of a latex glove, sort of medicinal sort of feel. You do get that in the slight opening, but as it starts to settle, oh, you get this beautiful sugared rose and this heaping dose of tonka in your face. Like, it is tonka straightforward with that oud giving a sort of slightly chocolatey base. Oh my God, this is so good, you guys. Oh, every time. When I first got this, I wore it every day for a week, which never happens for me. It is so rare that I reach for a fragrance every day, multiple times a day. And Arabian's Tonka, if you haven't tried it out, that fragrance is nuclear. This fragrance isn't as strong as Arabian's Tonka, but it's still a strong fragrance. Arabian's Tonka will be on you like 24 hours. I would say this is about 7 to 8 hours, which is still friggin' good. Like, it's still good. And as it's macerating, it's only getting better and better. So don't be, you know, let down just because Arabian's Tonka is 24-hour longevity and this isn't. It's still a well-performing fragrance. And for the price, y'all better stock up. It's summertime. I know normally people aren't wearing fragrances this heavy and this sort of syrupy and dense, but you know what? Bite the bullet, homie. Get it so you have it ready for fall, because this is gonna shine in the cooler months. And right now that it's like 25 bucks, y'all crackheads if you ain't doing it. Trust me when I tell you, just do it. Invest in this fragrance. You will not regret it. And if you are familiar with Arabian's Tonka, then you will definitely love this. Trust me when I tell you, this is a 10 out of 10. I love this. This is gorgeous, but you also have to be in love with sweet fragrances because this is a sweet one. I say this is unisex with a feminine lean. This reminds me a lot of Goldfield and Banks. Shoot, what's the one in the gold bottle? Oh God, why can't I remember? I have it. It's at my mom's house again. It smells like that, but not as unisex as that one. That one is unisex with more of a masculine lean. This is unisex with more of a feminine lean. But they smell very similar. That sort of Baccarat Rouge-y, very woody DNA. Very similar, but not the same. Don't get it twisted. Don't take my words out of context, people, or start calling me crazy in the comments. I mean, you can. I don't care. Like, call me crazy. I don't give a shit. But if you're familiar with that one, the Goldfield and Banks one, God, what is it called? I should have written it down somewhere. The one in the gold bottle smells very comparable to that. Not the same. Comparable to it. That sort of Baccarat Rouge-y, woody DNA. If you love that DNA, you're going to love this. Trust me on it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative. Definitely follow me on Instagram. I'm under Goddess on Neptune. You can also find me on Threads under the same name. Like and subscribe, you guys. It helps a homie out when you do. If you want to see more content like, if you want to see more cotton candy. If you want to see more content like this. Anyway, yeah. I hope you guys, like I said, like the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.